feel, think.
When we first meet our Warrior of Light, the first words we hear are Heidelin's, as she speaks to us in our vision at the start of the game. We have heard these three words many times since then, but what do they mean? Before Shadowbringers, it was often assumed that these words referred to the power of the Echo. However, from what we know from Shadowbringers, we know the Echo is a separate phenomena from the blessing of light that Heidelin bestows. We also learn that darkness is not evil, but rather activity, whereas light is stagnation or stasis at its extreme. So what do hear, feel, think mean? That's a great question, but let's look at somewhere else these words appear. The title song to A Realm Reborn answers. When we listen to the entire song, we hear a series of words, among which are hear, feel, think, in that order. Half the words are sung by a male and the other by female. Many have speculated that these are parallel to Heidelin and Zodiark. However, if we examine the words they are singing, the words associated with Heidelin are sung by the male. This falls in line with our own nihilist inversion theory. If we assume the positions are indeed inverted, then hear, feel, think would be categorized within the female or Heidelin's voice. However, there is another way we can break down the words. If we examine the meaning of the words themselves, they are all verbs that can be divided into active and passive. Active being those that involve external actions, and passive being the words that are internal. The active words, witness, follow, teach, wander, stumble, speak, tell, whisper, mention, welcome, roam, sanction, and answer. The passive words are promise, reason, hear, feel, think, listen, honor, value, hope, ponder, warrant, wish, cherish, sleep, weather. While likely not intended at the time Answers was written, it's not unreasonable to assume that Heidelin's victory against Zodiark can be represented by having additional words in the passive column, weighing the passive actions heavier than active. Since Heidelin's words are included on the passive side, and Heidelin and Zodiark are similar type primals, it is reasonable to presume that his words would be among the active side. But how can we narrow down which they might be? If we look at the passive list, many of the words are synonymous with slightly different meanings. For example, hear and listen. Hearing can be construed as the physical transmission of sound to the brain, but that does not indicate comprehension. It is possible and incredibly common to hear something and not even notice. In contrast, listening denotes a more active, yet still internal degree of engagement that includes comprehension and conscious effort directed towards hearing. As Heidelin is on the passive end of the spectrum, the more passive verb would be more accurate for her to use. Similarly, the words think and ponder. Between them, thinking is exactly that, the act of formulating thoughts, while pondering denotes more effort and focus. We could simply apply this to Zodiark's side, but in the Katana Ravel, Emmett Selk may have given us a hint when telling us of the final days. He tells the party to look, learn, and remember. Two of these words pair well with the words on the active side. As a disciple of Zodiark, Emmett Selk would have been on the receiving end, and therefore, Zodiark would be the owner of the primary action. In order to learn, for instance, one must be taught. Let's first examine learn and what words pair with it. Teach, the most active of the speaking roles on the active side. Whisper, welcome, mention, tell, sanction, teach. These follow a progression of initiating speech that are progressively more active, and much like Heidelin's words being the most passive of her list, Zodiark's words are the most active of his. This easily solidifies teach as being one of Zodiark's words. As Heidelin's words do not overlap in meaning, we can assume that Zodiark's do not either. Eliminating the remaining speech words and referring to Emmett Selk's words, the first of them, look, pairs well with witness, and is the only visual word on the list. But in this case, witness sounds like a passive action. However, if we consider witness as in bearing witness or giving testimony, then it fits neatly with the other speaking words, and we can include it with those, effectively eliminating it. As there are no more speaking actions, we look to the 4 words on our list dealing with movement: wander, follow, stumble, and row. Going by the most active of these words, we would come to follow, as it is the only one of the words that has a clear destination. Roaming and wandering are active, but lack direction. Stumbling lacks direction as well as coordination and intent, leaving follow as the most active verb, as it has both action and intent. The last word we look at would likely need to be paired with remember. To remember something, you must have received an answer to a question or have been taught, making answer Zodiark's final word. These words also begin to paint a picture of Zodiark as more than a world-crafting deity, but a teacher and guide, someone the ancients could follow to be taught, and to answer their questions about this new world they found themselves in. Or, in short, to take what steps they may, and thus lay the path for those who came after. So, by this logic, the words of Zodiark are answer, follow, teach, standing in contrast to hear, feel, think. As Heidelin stands in contrast to Zodiark, her words would stand as a pause before action. Hear before you teach, think before you answer, and feel before you follow. While where these words will take us in the future have yet to be determined, it's entirely possible that this entire theory could be absolutely destroyed tomorrow. However, it's interesting to examine how things could play out in Endwalker and what the final meaning of these words truly are.